Hi, everybody. Welcome to another thrilling and exciting episode of what is this? The Threadlings Filmmaking Production Diary. I'm Miguel Ortega, and this is Tran.
Hello, everyone.
Are there two live streams now, stereo? I don't know. Is there two live streams?
I don't think so.
There shouldn't be. It says under edit channels up on the top, there's like two YouTube videos. I don't know what that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
We can ask. But
Um.
how's everybody doing? Let's see who we have. We have Ruben. What's going on, senor? We have CC. Can't wait. Hand purple blue piece. That emoji I don't see, but it seems like a cool emoji. And then Rob, what's going on there? So yeah, we don't we have to figure that out. Netbug, thank you, sir. Ted, Ted said that. I miss you guys. Ted, what's going on? And Netbug says, hey, hey. Netbug never says misses us because Netbug is never gone. And, but yeah. Uh, so
so,
yeah, welcome back.
so this guy is the guy I was working on last week. Um. I did finish him up, so he is more polished. And in this version, he's got a cloth simming everywhere. I kind of. So this is how it turned out. This is the berry picker, which are very tall, and they're supposed to be lanky. Caught, like, I don't know. I feel like he's like a third their size. Like, uh, but these are the background characters, kind of gathering berries, and so that's why they have like long limbs. That's why he's got like a basket in his back, so that berries can go in there. And these guys are, since they're background characters, they don't even get mouths. They're basically just like bodies, and they don't get eyeballs either. So they all they have is cloth eyes, and just fake mouth stuff. And then we just put this animation on it, and it ended up being kind of funny. I didn't picture it this way, but it came out that way, and it was just became very strange.
You know, he got a lot of fan mail because I posted this video on Instagram and I got a lot of messages that people really like this guy. Even when there was a Gnomon event last week and a lot of people came up to me and commented on this guy. So he's quite a success.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. So this one's all good now. It sims well. It doesn't jitter. Where I left it last week, it had some issues. And just so everyone can see, let me hide the cloth. That is like the regular mesh body, right? And oh, we also decided to get rid of the tongue because it was just kind of weird, a little too weird. So we're not gonna keep the tongue.
Yeah. What is this? Where's this?
I don't know.
You guys can hear me fine, right? I'm at
Yeah, you could hear
yeah, yeah, yeah.
your mic is going. Is
Yeah, it's so weird. What the hell is this? I just found a cable that should not be cabling. Okay.
Yeah, so we did this week we did a voice recording again of our main actor Caught, because we wanted to make adjustments and some stuff. So um when we go to do that, we have to like disassemble things on our computer to take it somewhere else and then put it back, and then it's usually like,
A disaster.
yeah, usually a disaster.
We were
Uh
actually just talking about, we're like, you know what? We need to buy just versions
like
for,
multiple things. Yeah.
yeah, like versions that we don't rely on our computer that are just for when we go record.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it for this guy. I don't know, you want to tell him more about the
Well,
voice?
I will. So I will show it in a minute. I just want to get let me get the drive running so that I could actually show it. But yeah, we'll go through some of the files we recorded yesterday.
Let me open. So today what I want to do is I just want to get one of these guys textured. So I made like three. I think I made one that was just kind of crappy. So he's not part of this. But these guys, these characters are fun. Oh, actually, I don't know. This is another one. That's not the one I meant to bring up, but I like his how he turned out. I'm not ready to do this one because I haven't tested him in animation, and so there could be all kinds of problem. I think his name, as the group named him, was Tang because his head looks like a tangerine.
That
Or
was that was so he named him.
yeah, so he's tangerine. He's kind of cute. He's got a butt crack that goes up his back. I enjoy making these guys because they're so weird, um, and they're kind of just like there's not a lot of pressure. They don't have eyeballs. They don't have mouths either. But I want to do this guy. So this guy doesn't have a mouth. Maybe it will be. I don't know. I just think he looks kind of cool without a mouth. But yeah. So before I can bring him in, there's like some preparation. So for anyone like watching this and deciding they want to make their own marvelous character, maybe all this stuff will be pretty helpful. What I've done here on the 2D pattern is separate it into three sections. So this is like the underlaying layer. If I were to hide these guys, you'll see this is what's here. And what I've basically done for every one of these characters, for anyone like just joining and not really sure what I've been doing, is that I've created this guy through like ZRush. He's been Z remeshed, and then he's been auto rigged. And then let me show the cloth. Then I'll create like a suit like this. So this is all cloth, and this is like a full grain trim leather. It's very firm, right? So it just that this is like the longest part that it takes the most patience to do, just to like envelop it in something like this. And then these are cloned over, right? Like that. And so these become the dual layers. Now, what I want to do, which is like this extra step that I do that takes a little bit longer, is that these are the original material first layer, that pink layer, and then these are like the layers on top. And they're basically the same shape, right? So they can actually share UVs if you work a certain way. Um, right now, they don't share any UVs, so it's a little bit tedious, but it's not so bad. Over here, these are unique shapes that I decide to layer on top. But what I'm going to focus on is UVing this part and then re-layering these on top so that these share UVs, so that they just have when I texture them, I'm texturing like both of them at the same time. And that's how I've been doing like all the textures because you never see the bottom. I'll jump over to the UV editor and it always looks like this. And I'll right click and I'll reset UV to 2D arrangement, which will then like copy how it looks like in my 2D pattern view over here. And now because I organized first, I know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm going to worry about laying these guys out. Now, the nice thing is that these guys are background characters. They don't really have to have the same um, level of fidelity that that Cotton May will have to have. So I don't have to play like such crazy Tetris because I always consider this like Tetrising. But I don't think it's so bad. Um, how many layers can you stack without the problem of intersecting? For the clothing, or well, for the clothing, you just want to do two. And even then, you can have problems. I've just kind of done it a lot. Um, one of the things that helps, like, you can actually like if you look at this piece right here, and you see that there's that piece underneath, it is possible during simulation for it to pop through. But what kind of prevents this is that there's a positive air pressure, which makes it balloon. So then it's pushing the cloth out, right? So and it actually helps it from colliding or like kind of slipping underneath. Um, like on cotton mail, I don't use air pressure a lot on their stuff because air pressure can be like, which is right here, um, a bit unstable in simulation. But for these guys, it doesn't really matter because they don't have to perform the same way that main characters have to perform. And so I'm able to turn this on. And what it does is it creates a force that always pushes out based on the normals. So then it's always just puffing out. So it's hard for the piece underneath to pop through. The other thing it has is that this is 107% larger than the piece underneath, right? So it is the same size as this, but 7% bigger, which makes it so it doesn't like slip underneath. Like if there's no air pressure and if it's the same exact size, they probably will just like collide in and out of each other. And I really wouldn't recommend putting anything else on top of that. Yeah, Ted says there's two streams on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. Uh, they'll just have to fix it later. Okay, let's come back here and I'll just do a little bit of Tetris. Um, I've always liked Marvelous, but this project has made it become like maybe become like really crazy and Marvelous. Became like a unintentionally like Marvelous show.
This this is like absolutely a marvelous product. We should be sponsored by Marvelous.
Yeah, but I don't think they do that.
Shit.
They should. Okay. I like how some of you guys just like chat with each other through this chat. I'm like watching. It's kind of nice actually. So I'll just Tetris this through.
One second. Okay.
Yeah. Normally on things like this, I'm listening to like a some kind of like game. What I'm super into right now is horror let's play and usually indie horrors because they're very like story oriented. Um, I don't like watch like actual gameplay on anything, but I really like the story oriented stuff because it's very dark. Okay, let's place these in here. This is Let's Play Marvelous. Netbox says if you watch both YouTube streams, you get.
Yeah, I already shared that one.
Oh,
All
you
right, so I
did?
just got rid of one of them, so one of them is going to end abruptly. Um,
Okay, so you are able to do that.
yeah.
That's good. This is actually not so bad. At least to me, it's not. I'm laying them out like up here just because it's kind of, it's just easier. And then I can just move them down. UV tools are not like great in here at all, but they do the job. Uh, but you know, I wish it had things like texture density and stuff like that, or like better rotations. But slowly, um, it has gotten better over time. Much better.
I like this little guy.
Yeah, I like him too. He's some of the other guys are just like weird, just really weird creations.
I mean, he's a little generic. He looks like a generic elf.
I don't know how generic he actually is. He's just more generic than the other guys. Do you really think that's that generic?
Yeah,
You think so?
of course.
If you see someone, well, in the threading world, maybe.
If I went to like Estonia, I would be able to buy this in the street in like a from a like a vendor.
I don't think so.
Look, we literally have him right there on top of the
Yeah,
pinball
the
machine.
hat. That's
The,
it. But look at the eyes. The fact that
the eyes don't.
he's covered in cloth. I believe in him.
Yeah, we killed the other stream. What's up, Babasi? Yeah, so the other stream, that's just weird that there was 3 streams. 2 streams. Now there's 3 streams. There was 4 before, 2 of the same one. So weird, weird, weird. So we recorded. Oh, there we are. Okay. I should be able to.
Yeah, we just need to like double up on some of our equipment.
What we need to buy is RAID drives.
Yeah. Yeah, when you do like projects like this, you end up spending a lot of money on just stuff to get it done. That's just how it goes. I've just gotten used to it. Um, but you know, whenever I notice like some people starting out their filmmaking stuff, they're not used to the fact that you have to like buy so much crap and pay for so much crap. And it's not like a lot, but when you're not used to it, you're not used to it.
It all adds up.
Yeah, it all adds up.
So let's see what we got going on. So this is finally opening. So, jeez. Okay, so now you are not.
So these patterns here, um, or actually the button pattern, these UVs were made in Maya. So, and the button was made, it was actually weird. I actually made this button in Marvelous, and then I turned into geometry, brought into Maya, gave it UVs like this. Um, and so it became just like a regular mesh that is no longer like a marvelous piece. And when you bring it in as a button, it brings in the UVs if you have UVs on it. And when you attach them, they usually like sit like this. And you can't like depending on how you handled it, you can't re-change or order it. It would just come in this chunk. So uh that's why it looks like that. Okay, so these are like the main body UVs. Now, there is something weird in Unreal that happens, and I just don't know why this happens. And I just never figured out because I don't know what it is. But there's sometimes when meshes have uh, UVs that exceed 4 UDIMs, and their UVs will just wipe out. And I don't know what happens in that. But there's cases like that are just very, very strange. So I just never go past this, and I just go up 4 and up. Um, is that bug still there? Uh, maybe, maybe not, because there's already been multiple versions of Unreal. So I don't really know, but it is super, super annoying. That's all I can say about that. I'm gonna throw these over here.
What am I working on? I am working on the audio and the editing.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
show you guys in a second.
yeah. Production is not finished. We are trying to build a bunch of background characters. So we have this world, and we have our main characters, and some sequences done, and it's super empty. And what I've been doing on the stream is just doing these one-offs because it's actually a nice efficiency and time. Whereas sometimes a stream is just talking about stuff, but what I've been able to do is just maximize my time by creating these one-off characters that take me like 1 or 2 sessions in the stream to do, which is pretty nice. And I get to build all these background characters while moving the other stuff along.
But just so you know, one of the reasons why Tran has been driving the the videos and I'm showing less stuff is the Voice in the Hollow short that we did was bought by one of the major studios. We can't say which one yet. And as big a producer, who's also a director, as humanly possible, is the one who liked the project. We have been working on the script to get it greenlit. So they bought it already. So the green light just means like to kick it into production where we're hiring animation and everybody, but we're already like bidding on the project with like Luma's bidding on this and other companies are bidding on it. So we're like deep in that. And I'm the one that's like doing a lot of that initial part while Tran runs the Threadlings, but it's never just that clean cut. She helps me on that stuff. I help her on this stuff. It's just back and forth.
Yeah,
So yeah. But it's like a humongous deal for us. And that's why, yeah,
that's what's been happening.
that's what's been happening.
So some good stuff. We've been extremely busy um, and tired. I'm always tired though, so it's nothing new. Okay, so I just deleted that piece, recloned it, and now you can see the UVs are right on top. So they just share. It's more efficient. Um, every time I reclone it, I just want to make sure it's all good. So just sim it, and I'm just going to do it in sections. It's not a good idea to do it all at once because usually, I don't know, something bad happens. So I want to avoid that. I'm just going to handle it in pieces like this.
Yeah, we have like, there's just like so much like our life just got really, really insane in the past year, and there's just a lot of stuff that we can't discuss yet. But that's, this project is moving slower than The Voice in the Hollow, and it's moving slower because all this other stuff that is going on. It's not going to be a trilogy, it's just a feature film. But it's we I don't want a trilogy. I want to just make one movie that is meant to just be the most intense, brutal thing ever. And if they decide to make a sequel, that's a whole other thing, but it's never meant to be that. What I like about movies from the 80s is they made one, they just made it as fucking awesome as possible, or from the 70s. And if a sequel came out, that was a bonus, but it was all about making that first movie just be as awesome as possible. But yeah, I think when you guys find out who everyone else is that's attached to this project, you'll be pretty impressed because we still can't believe it.
Yeah. Things move really slow in movies. Like really, really, really slow, right? Like I mean, they move slow in games too. It's not like people just like pop out a game like next month. Well, I've seen like that's not necessarily true. Like there's indie stuff, but like none of those big games that are popular that everyone knows are just done that quickly.
Yeah.
It always takes time. I forgot to take note of these settings. Oh, it's 105.70. So what I'm doing is I just take screenshot. I don't know. Can they hear the audio?
Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Yeah, they can hear it then. So yeah, I'm just going through. I mean, I could show some of this. So we got all the recordings in. So now I'm just like listening to the takes from yesterday. It sounds kind of low. Let me crank this.
I wonder if they can hear it.
Ready? And no.
Yeah, they should be able to hear it.
And no.
But it is slow.
And no.
I could fix that.
And no.
Let me do. Da, 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 da. Just give me 1 second. So just gonna pull out the. There we go.
And no. And no.
What a nerd.
What is going on with that?
Gaka. And no.
And is
Yeah, your voice is like pitched up like really weird. What happened?
Yeah.
And 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 energy.
Okay, I gotta look into this. You know what? I'm not gonna do that right now because I think.
Does it have some weird like
Well, I added a thing in here, and I think that's probably causing it to get weirded out.
yeah, you sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
So this is what we were doing yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have like 8 hours of this shit, so I'm not gonna. Yeah.
So I got my UVs done. It wasn't so bad. You can see here like all the pink because I color code my stuff. That's the base layer. And then all the gray is the second layer on top. and sharing like the same UVs. And substance is fine. It's not a big deal. And then I just save this version, noting that it has UVs. Yeah, I think all our stuff is brutal, which is safe to say. Um,
Yeah.
I think the Threadlings is like the lightest. I'm wondering here if I should up-res him. I'm gonna go back and I want to check um, the simulation I did on this guy. Because I want to know the detail level.
I love how these guys walk.
Yeah. So let's loop him. Yeah, the animation's not looping. I think it looks detailed enough. We never get that close, right?
Yeah. That looks great.
Yeah, these are the miners. Are these guys the miners? I don't know. They're like, I call them gnome.
I just love that the little hat jiggles.
Yeah. I haven't gotten the simulation to work on the tangerine guy because the auto rig doesn't work on his body. He's too fat. Like he's too round and it gets all messed up. Like all the weighting is not good. Okay, so that guy looks good.
You sound like you're drinking beer.
I am drinking, but I'm not drinking beer. Miguel tells me I drink super loud.
No, the thing that happened is one time we did a Gnomon Australia event, and it was a packed house, and Tran said that she needs to have something to drink in order to talk. And Tran is sometimes a cartoon character without realizing it. So she would take a sip of water after every line that she would say, and then she would go ah, at the end. So she would take a sip, ah, like really loud, and she didn't realize that she was doing the ah part. And I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, you're doing like a Sprite commercial, but every single sip would be like ah, really loud. And I was like, do you not realize you're doing the ah thing? I obviously couldn't tell her that until she got off the stage, but uh, I make fun of her for that always.
Yeah. I don't do that. I don't think I do anymore.
I think you should. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, but I stopped.
No, that sucks because then I ruined it.
What auto rigged tool you use? Mixamo, any plans to use on new and real modular rigs for this project?
No. So I we love all that Unreal stuff, but our animators are all Maya based. Like just getting Unreal animators is really hard.
Yeah, and I think like animation is one of those like disciplines. Like if this works, like why change what works? You know, like
Yeah.
the thinking. Um, so I don't think any animator wants to switch to Unreal unless there's like some kind of huge push or incentive where they're required to do that. Um, I know that Unreal wants to do a lot of stuff inside Unreal now, right? Like providing rigging, animation, like basically, and then now they're getting into modeling and all that stuff is really awesome. But no, I don't think people like studios are ready just to do everything in Unreal. I think it's really hard to get out of Maya because we're just so embedded in it. Okay, so the normals were locked. It looked weird. And I'm just gonna merge all these pieces now. Maybe. Maybe I won't. I'll just texture it like this. Yeah, let's just texture it like this. So this is a mesh that would be textured. It's just a marvelous mesh. It should not have. Is the avatar inside here? I think I might export it. There's no avatar. Okay, that's good. So this is just a marvelous mesh, just the clothing. It has the UVs, and it just goes straight into substance. It's actually a super simplified workflow that works, and it's not very, like, I just wouldn't say it's super clean, but it's totally fine. And let me just import it. Let's export this as a FBX. So I never take like a mesh straight out of Marvelous and then bring it into Substance because there's always something wrong with it. Like the normals were locked or something like that. And it's going to affect the texturing. And I always use FBX. Sometimes I merge the vertices. I think that if I merge it, I will be causing a lot of issues. Like just bad non-manifold geometry. And we just do new. I'm going to use alpha test. We do 4K DirectX because it's Unreal. UV tile workflow, and I just turn on aces, but it doesn't match. It never does. Is it working?
Yeah. And energy.
I mean, it definitely sounds better.
And energy.
This is not the best clip because that was his first.
Yeah, so that was the very start of our session. And it is actually the start of the scene in the story.
Yeah.
And what Ka is doing is
You're out there. Come.
is practicing alone by himself in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to jump over to my smart materials in here. It takes a bit to load. There we are.
These are the fighting sounds.
That's caught.
Let's do. So let's find it.
I'm just trying out some pieces of cloth. I just want to see how these feel, this textile.
Run.
I remember that. That's because we saved all the screaming to the very end once everybody left.
Yeah. So we did this at Gnomon yesterday,
We didn't want to be
and then we
annoying.
waited for all the.
There's something wrong with someone.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, this is kind of cool. This is gonna be the trailer.
what do you think of this stripe cloth? Not
That's,
everywhere.
I think that's very cool.
How about on the face though?
Why are you using the alpha test settings?
Oh, so I use Alpha Test because it supports transparencies in case I need it, and Alpha Test is built for Unreal. So there's Alpha Blend template, and then there's also Alpha Test template, and the difference is how they handle opacity, right? So alpha refers to the opacity in terms of like, just the opacity slot, right?
There's something.
If you want to be able to erase certain sections, an alpha blend has gradation, right? So it has values from 0 to 1, and you'll see that range in the blend, right? And so you can have values like 0.2, 0.5, 0.8, the whole range. The test doesn't. It's 0 or 1, and there's no range at all. And what you choose basically depends on what you're using and what that engine supports. So in Unreal, um, if you want to have cloth, right, like a regular material, and the cloth has like shredded ends, it can only support the alpha test and just 0 or 1 in the transparencies. You can create translucent materials which will support this whole range, but usually those materials aren't used in like effects like Niagara, like smoke, fire, magic, things like that. And those type of materials are very limited. So you can't like necessarily put norm map. It doesn't look the same. And this guy is not a Niagara particle or anything like that, right? He's like a regular cloth person. So we have to just go with alpha test because then the transparency only supports 0 or 1 and no range. If you use things like V-Ray or Arnold, you can actually, it will support this, but it renders super slow, like very slow. So if you have fabric in your scene and you decide to put an opacity on it, and the opacity has like a broad gradation, your render is going to take a huge hit just from processing only that transparency. And I think that's why in Unreal, it only does 0 or 1 because it's fast. And just trying to handle that gradation is probably very heavy on their system. That's what I'm thinking, based on just like looking at render times and experience. The other thing that this is also going to give me, so you can see there's opacity slot here. It's also emissive, which I don't need, but we might play with that later. The other thing I also get is a scattering slot, which I was about to turn on. And then what scattering does, now that I've added it, is that I can enable subsurface scattering. And all our characters have SSS. Uh, let's just turn that on. I don't know if I'm supposed to turn this on or off, but I'll create a new fill. And now it has scattering. And we'll set it to 1, which activates that. And now you can see it has SSS. I would just call this SSS. So a lot of times when I'm working, I'll turn it on and off. And this is kind of close to how the characters actually look. It helps make the fabric look much nicer. Um, one of the things that we did try to do is we try to put like fuzz on them, but the fuzz is like, it's heavy. It takes a really long time to render, and it can have a lot of noise. And I don't know if it actually looks better. Uh, like Shrog has like fuzz on his face, and I don't know if it's like worth all that. Um, but yeah, um, instead of trying to get fuzz on everything, because it just doesn't look quite the same. What we've been doing is having subsurface because a lot of fabric has subsurface. So it's kind of, I don't know, maybe a long answer. Let's change this to translucent. But maybe it's helpful because I didn't know these things when I first started using CG. It's like, well, I don't know, it just does that. The other thing we're doing is most of the cloth has like a warm undertone. You can kind of see how it feels. We're not in Unreal, but it produces a very similar result. Like it's not human skin. So, if it's white, it looks like this. Um, and it just doesn't kind of, or gray or whatever, it doesn't feel that nice. If I feel like I give it a warm tone, it like has a little bit more depth and complexity. So all our characters have like a warm tone in it that I think looks nicer. But yeah, if you guys ever throw like complex, like gradient opacity in like your scene in like V-Ray or Arno or Redshift, whatever you're using, you will notice, right? That render hit right away. So I do like this pattern. I don't know where I would put it. Maybe on the pants. There is a seam right here. So I have to get rid of that. I do like it on the legs,
Yeah.
maybe not the feet. So what I'll do, I'll just dump this, is I'll just add a black mask, add a paint, and then I will quickly fill in these guys using the polyfill tool, and then putting on areas I like. I don't think it looks good quite in the center, but I do have a way to try to get around that. And I'm just going to hide this wireframe because I don't want to see it. I teach a class in substance, and if you teach it, you end up knowing whatever it is really well because there's always like some problem that needs to be fixed.
That's how you get good.
Yeah, it's constantly doing it. I think I might put it on the hand. I think it looks cool there. And for the pants, this is what I'm going to do. So let's see how it looks in the back. I mean, what do you think of that stripe? Like, maybe I don't mind it in the back where it's not quite flowing, but it looks kind of funny. It looks more like a butt, I guess. I don't know why I think butts are funny, but I do. So the front is not really working, so I could probably correct that. And what I'd have to do first is find where that is. Let's just add another paint layer. And I can't use the polyfill. Okay, so it's over here. I don't know where that crease is. So I probably do need to turn on wireframe. There it is. And then now I could see that line. And I'll just make this brush really sharp. I could do it like
There's
that,
something wrong
but I
with
can also
someone.
use the path tool, which I've been using a lot.
Terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads. Moths walk among us.
I
We
like that
need to
line.
protect the colony. Yes, you're the only one I have.
So yeah, that's the dialogue from the trailer.
Yeah, so that was his session.
Mayo, there's something wrong with Zord. Something terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads. Moths walk among us. We need to protect the colony. Yes, You're the only one I have.
So Mayo would say
Mayo
Mayo.
too.
Yeah, me too.
Hold on one second.
Okay, so now that I have that, I don't have to have this wireframe. And I'll just paint this in here. We'll change it to UV paint because I'm going to paint it in the UV window. If you paint in the UV window and it's not changed to your alignment brush, it's not changed to UV, you'll just paint all over everything in 3D. And I also have mirroring on. So that allows me to just do one side. Okay, so the stripe is gone here. And then what I'll do here is I'll duplicate this again. And this time, I'll get rid of that. Oh, I have to paint this mask again. This sucks. And let's turn on the wireframe again. The one thing about the path tool is it has to be done in 3D. Like I can't do it in the 2D window. Which is kind of cool, but when it gets to that stuff, you can see it's bleeding into this other thing. I think what I'll do is I'll just mark it down here. And this is much better than painting it by hand because it always looks kind of bad. And I forgot to turn on mirroring. Okay, let's turn on mirroring. It's not super bad. It just takes me a while to paint like a smoother line. Okay. No, I'll just paint it. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm confused. What am I looking at?
Mayo, there's something wrong with Zord. Something terrible is happening.
So I have that. That sounds pretty good. And then if I were to grab, let's grab some of Dan's music just for the hell of
No!
it. That's where the hell did that go?
Okay, so I have this back on here, just this pants. And then what I want to do is reset all this. Okay. And then change this to planar projection. Hopefully that works. I don't really like warp projection because it's kind of a pain. And it's projecting something, but it's very bright. So I'll scale this down. So this is to correct seam. I overscaled it. I don't know where it went.
That's not it.
And we'll just kind of rotate it a little bit because it is slightly slanted. There's some stretching when you do this. I don't think it's so bad though. It looks fine. I just want to make sure it scales, but now I don't have that weird seam. Scale it up a little because the stripes are kind of small. I'll try to turn on this color match again. This one was a color correction. It doesn't work. Once it's planar project, it stops working.
Mayo, there's something wrong with Zord. Something terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads. Moss.
So the spacing is obviously like all one after another, that we would have much bigger gaps in between, but that's kind of the
Walk among
vibe.
us. We need to protect the colony. Yes, you're the only one I have.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it sounds cool too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to color correct it manually so the color match doesn't work.
Bobby says he's got a booty on him. He's got a booty.
Let's paste the same color. So color match is kind of unstable. Okay, now he's got pants. I'm gonna save him real quick because I don't want this to crash because it can happen. Just give that a second. So what do you think of this guy? Any ideas on him, Miguel?
I think he looks good. In terms of texture, you mean?
Yeah, in terms of the texture.
I just know that he's got to look dirty.
Oh, is that how it is? Because he's a minor?
Yeah, he's got to have like a. He's got to look. I think he should look initially clean the way you're setting him up, and then just cover him with like dust.
Yeah. We should have asked like Liz to texture these guys. So
Ask her to.
I just thought of it. I'm like, oh, why didn't we ask Liz to do this? Liz did some other texturing on like the environments. It wasn't just her, it was a team of people. But she did really great and she loves to just texture.
They just gotta look like they've been in the mines all day for years.
I like this fabric, but it doesn't always work. Like this Mayo and Schraub used to have this. But I kind of want to bring it back. What do you think?
Zoom in.
You didn't like it. No?
I think it's okay.
I need a good base. So not that one. I have a linen one. There's this one.
That's kind of cool. It's got more detail. I like that more.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Let's change tiling to like 0.8. So it's bigger. But that's not a bad base.
No, that's good.
I'll also mask him out, paint it. You can polyfill him. The one thing about this is trying to get some kind of complexity.
Do you both use Substance Painter and Mari? What are some of the pros and cons in your opinion? Um, on the Threadlings, it's no Mari. It's all Substance. Tran uses Mari when she's doing like photoreal characters. For the most part, though, that's it, right? Everything else you use Substance for?
On this show, I just use substance.
No, but I mean in general.
Yeah, I mean before like because Mari existed first, I used Mari more, but as I started using substance, it's just kind of better for various reasons.
You saw the Foundry discontinued Moto after like whatever amount of years it's been around. Like they're killing it.
They're just killing it.
Yeah.
I wonder how people feel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think get like more complexity. So are these guys not flashy? They're like kind of more earthy.
Yeah, totally. They're not flashy at all. They're like the laymen. They're the miners. I'd actually look at just images of miners. What makes miners look like miners?
Well, I need some kind of breakup um, of some sort. And I usually do like at least several types of fabrics on them.
These
Maybe
kid miners like blow my mind.
show it.
When you look at some of these, like they look like they're like men.
Yeah, that's why they had this child labor laws come in.
But like look at these guys. They look like they're 40.
Yeah, they went through some stuff. That's for sure. That looks like a baby. Like like that kid looks so young. In our world, they all they're all fine being minors.
Yeah, they love it. They whistle while they work.
Yeah, they're like totally cool with it. Let's see, that gives it some breakup. What else?
Uh
Let's see. Let's break this up here.
on one hand, it's a bummer to see Moto Dev stop because I think having multiple 3D workspaces raises the bar. On the other hand, it probably allows them to focus on more niche specific pipeline needs. Yeah, the Foundry used to do so many updates on all their stuff. Like I remember every version of Nuke was like, wow. Every version of Moto was impressive. Every version of um what was their other tool? They had another one. It's Mari, Moto, and Nuke. Those, I guess those three. All their updates were really amazing, and nowadays it's like like even Mari's like falling behind.
Mari is seriously behind.
Yeah,
Um, it it has problems.
something happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Um, Substance came in and it was just so good. And I don't know like what happened to Mari, but they're yeah, way too expensive.
How much is it? It's like a lot of money, right?
I haven't checked in a while. Last time I checked, and I could be wrong because things change, but it was like 6 grand per license. And at that time, Substance is it's just not a comparison, right? Like you can use Substance back then. Like if you were a student, you could get a license before it sold to Adobe for $100, and or it was free actually, but it doesn't compare in cost. Yeah, 6 grand. I wonder. Check. Can you look it up?
Yeah.
It's really good at projection painting. Like Substance is not good at it. It doesn't have tools that like help you with that very well. Substance is like really good for procedural workflow, and I would say it's really strong in that sense. So I have the wireframe on so I can just see, but it is kind of hard to see this because it's all triangulated.
So you can't buy it anymore. You have to just rent it. The
Mari,
subscription. Yeah.
how much is Mari at the moment?
It's okay, so it depends. So if you're not a company, it's $300 a year, $35 a month. That's not so bad.
Really?
Yeah. If you're a company, it's
That's what
12.
that's what they charge me for like the teacher's license, and I'm like, I don't even want this right now.
So if you're yeah, well that's what it says. So if you're professional, it's $1,200 a month. $1,200 a year, sorry. $1,200 a year. And if you're a student, it's $100 a year.
I'm getting ripped off by them.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have this aligned incorrectly.
Yeah, but the thing is those limitations, so there's also non-commercial
Oh,
versions
those
for free.
limitations, like you don't even want to use it anymore.
Yeah, you don't even want to use it. And then if you want to like upgrade it because you're like, oh crap, I actually do need that, you can't because the file is a different format or whatever.
And you can't open non-commercial file in in a full commercial file. So it doesn't give you that flexibility. Um, the other thing too, it's capped at by 6 UDIMs, and there's certain file formats you can't export.
Yeah.
And like the thing that is good, supposed to be good about Mari. So like you know, why would I switch from? In what cases would I switch? Um, I screwed up. I would use Mari on something if it had a ton of UDIMs. So if I was dealing with a file that just was astronomical and the UNIMs, usually that would be environment, then I'd be like, yeah, let's just try to do it in Mari because it would just be so slow to do it in substance. But if you use non-commercial, it kind of defeats the purpose. You know, and I will say like once Adobe bought Substance, it's still like, pretty good. Like they haven't um it doesn't feel like they abandoned this product at all. Like it's come out with new innovations since like this tool that I'm using right now. You know, my biggest critique about Mari is I don't think they realize where it's strong. And then to keep developing the stuff that is actually strong. Um like if they did that, people would still be wanting to use it.
Let's see what else we have. Um, Hello, Gnomon. Can you tell me where to find such specific HDRI maps? Hello, I am Gnomon. Uh, uh, so I would probably get HDRIs from HDR. Yeah, Polyhaven. Yeah, there you go. What would Gnomon sound like?
I don't know. Sounds like Alex.
It would sound like Alex. Yeah, it
Yeah,
would.
because he is Noman.
Mhm.
It'd be Alex talking.
Yeah.
So this is my super fun time. I'm trying to put the stripes, and since these are not cut up, so I guess I realized like one thing that would help if they were, it'd be able to UV them and texture them much faster. But they're not. So that's just how it is. Um, so now I'm masking it out and just trying to do clean mask. Takes a bit.
Yeah, check on Polyhaven. Polyhaven is definitely the place. That's where we would get our HDRIs. And then there's a few places that sell them. But those you have to dig them up. I don't remember their name.
Yeah.
But Polyhaven should have like 90% of what you need unless it's something that's very, very, very specific.
Yeah. Our like current the Threadlings is not really heavy. In HDRI and use of lighting. A lot of stuff is like interior and it's kind of dark. But we don't really need it so much. We have an HDRI for our cactus scene. So okay. I'm starting to lose track.
So you're just doing that just to kind of shade it?
No, I'm not doing it like what it is
Oh, that's for your stitching?
no, it's not even that. It's just to have straight lines. So like here,
Oh, so then you could just fill it with a solid color.
yeah, because you can do it by hand, but
I see, I see.
it takes like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it takes a while. So what I would do as I'm doing this, now that I'm looking at it, I don't know, maybe I should just go back to Marvelous because now I'm like, this is gonna take forever. That's what I'm thinking while I'm doing this actually, because I'm like, getting quiet. I'm like, this is too slow.
You're
So
thinking maybe you should have just cut it up?
yeah, so this is what I would do. I'm gonna delete this and all the pieces that has a lot of these red lines, which are internal lines. I'm just going to grab them like this and just cut and sew. And it takes a second to process. And I'll do that for here. We'll also cut and sew. Because I'm like, this sucks. And then what happens here, you can see these are cut. Now the only issue is like the UVs are touching, which sucks. So now I have to like pull them apart a little bit. So that's what I got to do here. You can see how CG gets really tedious. And this guy really doesn't need that much space. Okay. Now that these are cut, when I want to change patterns,
That edge is popping out on the right.
yeah. Well, I just am kind of frustrated now.
There, there you go.
Because what I really want to do is kind of so this is where Marvelous sucks in the UV space. Like doing this manually.
I have another question. If I want to build a career in the movies, should I study? I'm assuming that's Mari, 100% at this stage, or not anymore. I think you should know Mari still. Um, I still would learn Mari.
Well, are you trying to do texturing? Are you specializing in texturing? 'Cause
Well, I would assume so if he's asking a Mari specific question.
well, I mean, you never know.
That's true.
If you are trying to be a texture specialist
You should know it.
and you're working in movies, then yeah. Um, it is superior when it comes to projection painting and dealing with skin and like high resolution type stuff. Its color correction is superior. It's more accurate in color space.
It's almost to a fault. Like one of the biggest problems with Mari, in my opinion, is it gives you like maybe too much control over everything to the point where you're like, Jesus, can you just simplify this freaking interface a little bit? And most of it, this is the thing that I don't like about Mari, is it's not like the interface is hard to use. It's not. It's just that like you use like 20% of the shit, right?
It's just a convoluted space where they really they just have to simplify their buttons and everything.
Yeah, it feels like a hot rod without like the engine cover, right? And you're just seeing everything there, and you're like, can we just like cover some of this shit up so we don't see it all? It's like there's too much settings that you don't need all the time.
Can you download procedural material setups in Mari? Maybe. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of the material system. I really think what people use um, Mari for is just skin, right? So if you're thinking like procedural materials, like substance,
But isn't that more like the way Unreal procedural shaders work? Like some of the stuff that you do to me ends up feeling like that more like render man old school way of setting up shaders.
oh, you mean like Unreal?
Yeah, sometimes when I see the way you set up your shaders in Unreal, I'm like, that looks like the way Mari. Remember when we first started? So we started using Mari before it was even commercially available. We were using it when Weta uh, basically first sold it to the foundry because it was created at Weta. And so we were using it back then and you couldn't even buy it. Um, remember that? And back then it
Yeah.
didn't even have layers. You had to create a material. And if you think about it, like that works exactly the way like Unreal shaders work.
Yeah, they don't there's not really it kind of is there still, actually. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's when you work in layer mode that you have to deal with that. But
Mayo,
most people use it
there's
for
something wrong
node
with
graph
Sword.
mode. Samari is very complex. It has a mode where you can work at a layer system, and it also has a mode where you can work on it like a node graph, like Nuke or whatever. So it's a dual system, and I think that dual system makes it more convoluted, and they should just make it a node graph system.
Something terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads.
I think I assume, like I see this question. I remember watching a video from I don't know who that is. It did in Mari, and it felt it was like a mixture of designer and painter. Mari has a
Moths
new node
walk
system. Its
among
layer
us.
system no longer relevant in studios. I think that just depends on the
But we
artist.
need to protect the colony.
Some artists will not like the node graph.
Yes.
Thus the pipeline is very rigid,
Yeah.
and it says the pipeline says you have to use node, and there could be pipelines like that.
So I'm editing the sound just so you guys know if you guys get annoyed by this. This is
That's how it
The
goes.
only one I have.
okay, so having that, let me you know what, I'm just gonna have this like small on the corner. No, like you can there, but I'll just be down at the corner. There we go.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of coming back and go, this sucks. And I'm cutting this up because I will spend all my time just masking this up. And you guys saw me doing that. Like, there's got to be a better way. So
Something
that's why I'm doing this.
terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads.
So right there, I'd probably start it right around there. You know, with sound editing, like one of the things I do all the time, if you were to see me work, I look like a psychopath because I like close my eyes and I play it, and then I'll be like, stop right there. That's where the feels are, and then that's where I have to move the clip. So it's all about like closing your eyes and just hearing it, and then you're like, that's it's gotta be right there, right there, right. So right there, I need the talking to start.
Something terrible. Something terrible is happening. I can. There's something wrong with Sword.
All right, let's see.
Mayo, there's something wrong with Sword. Something.
Okay, so now let's move these guys over. One second. Right there.
Mayo, there's something wrong with Sword. Something terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads.
I think it's so cute. He says you can feel it in his threads.
Yeah, me too.
Moths walk among us.
Okay, so that boom, boom, you want that?
Moths. Moths walk among us. We need to protect the colony. We need to protect the colony.
The name of this movie is The Threadlings. Okay, so this kind of sucks. There's like issues that are marvelous issues. Like, so if you guys look here, whenever I use layer clone, there's always this gap right here. So I can see like when it sews, it like never freaking closes it. I don't know what causes this. But it's always when it's layer cloned. And I've tried to like mess with the settings to get rid of this and everything. It sucks.
So I gotta find a clip for Mayo to.
Mayo? 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 Mayo?
Okay, so the way I fix like the layer clone problem
Mayo do.
is to restitch it, which is like
Mayo
it's pretty shitty.
kill? Mayo kill? Mayo
And in order to restitch it, I have to break this connection.
Mayo no! Mayo?
But it should get rid of all these gaps.
Mayo danger! Mayo go, Mayo go. Mayo scared.
I love that kid's voice.
Scary. Mayo go.
Mayo's voice, yeah. Mayo's voice is amazing.
Mayo proof? Mayo proof? Did. Mayo 2? Mayo 2? Mayo 2? Mayo 2? Mayo 2? Mayo 2? Mayo 2?
That's it.
Mayo 2?
That's it. So let's.
Okay, so restitching. Well, I guess you guys can see how much
We need to protect
this sucks.
the
But that should get rid of the gap.
I'm not intentionally playing it whenever you talk.
Yeah,
Just
this is kind of comes off like a
no, it's not. Just it's. Yeah.
colony.
It seems like it, but that was not. I was like, I'm trying to not do that.
Mayo 2?
Let's see.
and restitching this sucks, man. But so this is the part. Yes, if I do all this, I will gain time in texturing, but I have to do more time here. But ultimately, this is still worth it.
So Johnny Boy wants to know why you must move each patch.
Because it's UVs, I guess.
So by doing,
I don't know what that means. To like do each patch.
by separating it like this, one of the issues Tran was having is that she was trying to draw like
Yeah, it's
give
masking.
basically give each little panel like its own value, but she was manually having to go in and mask it. But if you break it up like this, she could just select that one individual island and then just tint that entire thing. So it's much easier. Um,
Yeah, so it's harder in Marvelous, but it speeds up the texturing time.
yeah.
This is also something that we want to farm out, like meaning hire like another texture artist to do this. And since we are low budget and don't have a lot of money, I have to do whatever saves money. So if this takes me, realistically, if I'm not streaming, it takes me an extra 30 minutes to do all this, right? Maybe. Because I can do it quick because I do it a lot. And then what will happen then is I just save time. I save more money. So then now when it gets passed on to a texture artist like Liz, she can get this done faster and therefore it's cheaper,
Mayo too?
if that makes sense. So this is crappier for me, easier for the texture artist, but then saves money ultimately.
Moths walk among us. We need to protect the colony. Mayo too? Yeah.
And it's as you guys can see, it's a little bit tedious doing this.
Colony.
Okay, let's see if that fixes that gap. Yeah, see, it's gone. Now it's not. I mean, there's still some crap. There's always something. Yeah, there's always something, but these are technically sewn. Sometimes they will just kind of snap close. I feel like that's a bug. When you use their layer clone stuff, see, that did just snap, didn't it? What happened here? Just became very loose.
Mayo too?
Let's give it more air. This I
Yes,
didn't sew
you're
correctly
the
up
only
here.
one I have.
I basically, once we end the stream, I'm probably gonna just redo all this because I kind of just screwed up. Because now it's one of those cases like you did something and then you forgot a step, then you try to fix it and it's just going to shit. That's what's happening to me right now.
Okay, so what I'm probably gonna do here is now that I kinda have the timing, now I'm gonna reverse engineer it so that the drop happens where I want it to.
Mayo too? Yes, you're the only one I have. Mayo
Let's bring this lower.
too? Yes, you're the only one I have.
Let's just see what that sounds like.
Mayo, there's something wrong with Zord. Something terrible is happening. I can feel it in my threads. Moths.
Just so you guys know, I think I broke something because this cloth looks all weird now. I don't know what's going on. It needs like a restart, but we're like at the end of the stream. I don't know what you guys saw, but probably not. But it popped, and now it looks kind of strange.
Do you ever just restart just to see?
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to do that right now. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, because we only have like 10 minutes left. But it is like a weird, it's such an annoying problem. Um, this gapping it's just a byproduct of layer cloning. I'm not sure because if it were me and I just had all the endless amount of time, I would just be like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just paint it. But once you start hiring someone else to do stuff and you have to pay them, now it just takes more time and you can't afford it. And so, but you need like help to get more work done because this would be very like expensive to have someone do it, but it's now the whole entire character is just like breaking apart. It's got to be a faster way of doing this. Anyway, what do you say?
I say
I'm just going to do this character the other way. I'm just going to give up on this and go back to this one because there's all kinds of issues now.
you can't make a car hard surface thing in Marvelous. I mean, I guess you can, but that's like it's not the point of Marvelous. I mean, we have a bunch of that like architectural stuff done in Marvelous here,
Yeah.
but it's because it's trying to look like fabric.
I mean, what's kind of cool is when you look at it in here and you see these gaps, they're like stitching. But again, I don't know how to close that.
When I see photos of old LA, I truly don't understand how this city got so ugly. Like it was so beautiful once.
I'm going to try this again. Anyway, any thoughts, Miguel?
The only thoughts are that thank you guys for coming, and hopefully we're gonna have a trailer soon, which will be cool. 3D stuff is so much harder than people give it credit for. Yeah.
It is. Everyone, it's even worse with AI though. Everyone now it is a push of a button.
Now everything is AI. Did you know that? Like everything, if it's CG, it's AI. Did you know that? Like I've been watching like things online and they're like, oh, but it's all AI. It's like, no, that's a CG thing. It's all AI now.
Yeah, so no one even thinks that there's a person behind it.
Yeah.
It's
We're-
just worse.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay. So I'm gonna try to repair this arm before the end. Just have a couple minutes left. And I wish I could just layer clone this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this. There's always problems. I think we just have to flap it this shit. I can't do this.
Nat says, "How do you make things seem thick and marvelous? I always find it hard making things not seem drapey." I mean, look at what she's doing right there. Her thing doesn't look drapey at all. It looks very rigid and quilted. You want to wrap it up? Let's just wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming. Um, yeah. You guys have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
How many people do we have? 34 people. 34 people. That's a lot of people. All right. See you guys.